Hello everyone! Welcome to my channel Bachelor Nation News. Fans, warning, this article contains major spoilers about The Golden Bachelor Season 2. The ending of The Golden Bachelor Season 2 has been a mystery for weeks because very few spoilers have been released about what happened during Mel Owens' journey to find love. However, after watching his overnight fantasy suite dates with Cindy Colors and Peg Munson, and considering Reality Steve's finale spoiler, it's obvious how the season will end. The Golden Bachelor Season 2 star Mel, a 66-year-old NFL player turned lawyer and divorced dad of 2 sons, chose Cindy, a 60-year-old divorced retired biomedical engineer from Austin, Texas, and Peg, a 62-year-old divorced retired firefighter and bomb tech from Las Vegas, Nevada, for his final 2 women. Cindy has told Mel that she's falling for him, but Peg hasn't. Mel has said that he doesn't take using the word love lightly, and he won't say it unless he really means it. Both Cindy and Peg had trouble getting Mel to express his feelings during their fantasy suite dates, but Peg seemed satisfied with their conversation the morning after. However, the aftermath of Cindy's overnight date wasn't aired yet, so it's unclear if she got what she needed from Mel during it. In fact, it's not currently known if Cindy even spent the night in the fantasy suite with him. However, if Reality Steve's spoiler about the end of the season is true, then it's possible that Cindy might not go much further on the show. Cindy Colors might self-eliminate from The Golden Bachelor. In an Instagram post, Reality Steve revealed the spoiler that Mel got engaged to Peg at the end of The Golden Bachelor Season 2, which means that Cindy was his runner-up. If this is true, it's likely that Cindy self-eliminated before Mel had the chance to break up with her. She was feeling very unsure about him after her hometown date when he couldn't open up, and things seemed even worse during their fantasy suite date. It wouldn't be surprising if Cindy did the same thing that the Bachelor Season 28 runner-up Daisy Kent did when she realized that Joey Graziati was in love with Kelsey Anderson and not her. Like Daisy, Cindy will most likely bow out gracefully because she's beginning to realize that while she has strong feelings for Mel, they don't seem to be reciprocated. Mel will propose to Peg Munson and she'll accept. Although Reality Steve has been wrong in the past, it does seem obvious that Mel has a stronger connection with Peg at this point. In the beginning, it seemed that his relationship with Cindy was deeper, especially because they hit it off on premiere night. But as things have progressed, it seems that Peg is a better match for him. Reality Steve's spoiler is probably right, and Mel will propose to Peg and she'll say yes. During her hometown date, she told her mother that she'd accept a proposal from him, and she's repeatedly said that although she never thought she'd get married again because she's self-sufficient, she now would like to. The point of the Golden Bachelor overnight fantasy suite dates was for Mel and the women to have time off camera to have important conversations. While it's possible that Cindy might have ended things with Mel before the overnight portion of their date, it's more likely that she stayed and their conversation confirmed to her that they weren't right for each other after all. Hopefully, Mel and Peg will be very happy with their engagement, and Cindy will become the next star of the Golden Bachelorette to continue her search for love.
The California desert looked like a polished pearl, glowing softly against the palm trees that swayed around the resort. Inside, cameras packed up for the night, crews whispered goodnights, and the usually electric Golden Bachelor set dimmed into a warm hush. Except for Mel Owens' heart. It was thundering. Tonight, Fantasy Suite Night, was supposed to be private, intimate, clarifying. The moment the world would stop being a buzzing swirl of roses, interviews, and producers, and finally give him space to listen to the truth inside his chest. But instead, Fantasy Suite Night felt like a riddle, a test, or maybe even a leak just waiting to happen. Because Mel realized something terrifying. His body language was about to betray him. Peg Munson, the storm he didn't see coming. Peg stopped out of the car first, silver hair glowing under the lantern lights, smile soft but dangerous in its sweetness. There was something about Peg, a spark, a light, a mischievous, comforting, absolutely disruptive energy that followed her like perfume. Mel swallowed hard when he saw her, and the cameras caught it. They caught the way he inhaled sharply, the way his eyes softened entirely, the way his fingers twitched like he already wanted to reach for her. Peg noticed too. "Are you okay?" she teased lightly. He nodded too quickly. "Yep, great, fine." She leaned in. "You look like you're about to faint." "Only a little," he admitted. Their date was warm, playful, intimate. Peg teased him about oatmeal brands. Mel made her laugh so hard she cried, and the night turned into something that looked less like TV romance and more like home. Producers whispered behind monitors, "That look, that's endgame energy. Don't zoom too close, viewers will guess it." But how could they hide it? Mel practically glowed around Peg. And that was the problem. If anyone watched closely, they'd see it. The shift, the softness, the way his body turned instinctively toward her even when he was trying to stay neutral. Peg Munson was the unscripted tell. Nicole, the comfortable almost. The next night, Mel met Nicole. She was beautiful, poised, gentle, the kind of woman anyone would be lucky to end up with. Their friendship was effortless, their conversations easy. But something was missing now. Something Mel was trying hard not to acknowledge. Nicole saw it before he spoke a word. Sitting across from him during dinner, she narrowed her eyes. "You're quieter tonight." Mel cleared his throat. "Just thinking." "You're thinking about her." She didn't ask. She knew. Mel froze. Nicole leaned back, giving a sad but peaceful smile. "It's okay, Mel. Peg has a gravity. You can't fake that connection." His chest collapsed, not with fear, but with relief. Nicole understood him in a way that made saying goodbye feel like respecting her, not hurting her. But producers watching the footage backstage stiffened. This is going to blow the ending. Everyone will see Mel's choice from a mile away. He's not even trying to hide it. How could he? He didn't know how to pretend anymore. The night he couldn't hide anymore. On the final night of filming, Mel walked alone down a candlelit hallway, the same one used for dozens of Bachelor endings before, but every step echoed with clarity, not confusion. He had the ring. He had the final speech. He had the choice. And the choice had already been made during the fantasy suites. Because when he was with Peg, everything felt like sunrise. Warm, new, hopeful. When he was with Nicole, everything felt like letting go of a good memory. Producers kept whispering, "Try not to give it away too soon. Keep the tension." But tension wasn't honesty. And for the first time in decades, Mel Owens wanted to lead with nothing but truth. Peg's door. He knocked. Peg opened the door wearing a robe that looked like moonlight. Her breath hitched when she saw him. "Mel?" she whispered. He didn't wait. He pulled her into a long, full-bodied hug, the kind that melts every doubt. Peg's hands slid around his back, trembling just slightly. "I know," she whispered into his shoulder. "I felt it too." "Did I really give it away that easily?" he asked softly. She laughed and wiped a tear. "Mel, you gave it away the moment you looked at me during Fantasy Suites. Everyone could see it." "Even the viewers?" "Oh, they knew before you did." I groaned, so much for suspense. Peg cupped her face gently, her thumbs brushing his cheeks. "Suspense is for TV," she murmured, "but love is for real life." Mel kissed her forehead, the decision complete, the spoiler fully spoiled. "I choose you," he breathed. "Then don't let go," she whispered. And he didn't. Not that night, not the next morning,
Sunlight
not ever
spilled
again.
through the thin hotel curtains, painting soft stripes across the sheets. Mel's arm was draped over her waist, warm and sure, as if he'd been holding her that way for a lifetime. For a moment, Peg didn't move. She just listened,
to the birds outside, to the distant hum of crew vans, and to the steady, peaceful rhythm of Mel Owens' breathing. So this is what certainty feels like, she thought. But the moment shattered when the door clicked. A quiet knock. Then another. Peg stiffened. "Oh no, is that—" Mel groaned. "Producers." The knock came again, firmer this time. "Mel, Peg, we need you both in interviews in 10. We, need to talk about the footage?" Peg covered her face with a pillow. "We got caught, didn't we?" Mel chuckled. "We didn't get caught. We gave ourselves away." "On Fantasy Suite night?" "Yup." Peg groaned again. "We are terrible at being mysterious." But Mel just gently kissed her shoulder. "Good. I don't want to be mysterious with you." Producer panic. The spoiler problem. In the makeshift interview room, two producers sat across from Mel, their laptops open, faces somewhere between panic and resignation. Mel, one side, running a hand through his hair. "I need you to understand something. Viewers are observant." Mel frowned. "Okay." "Painfully observant," the other added. "They saw the way you looked at Peg during the Fantasy Suite dinner. They noticed your hand reached for hers twice. Social media is already predicting her as the final pick, before the finale even airs." Mel blinked. "And that's a problem?" "Well, yes," the producers chorused. But Mel only leaned back, completely unbothered. "What do you want me to do? Pretend I'm in love with someone else?" Peg, sitting nearby, smirked proudly. Producer number 1 let out a defeated sigh. "You weren't supposed to fall that obviously." Producer number 2 added, "Can you at least pretend to look confused?" Mel chuckled. "Next time I'm picking a woman on national TV, probably not." Peg laughed so hard she snorted. The producers groaned. The spoiler was sealed. Goodbye with respect. Mel and Nicole's final scene. Nicole stood on the terrace overlooking the resort's lake, her dress a soft rose gold shimmer that glowed in the evening light. She already knew. Her posture was calm, graceful, accepting. Mel approached her slowly. Nicole took his hands before he could speak. "Mel, you don't have to say it." His eyes softened. "You deserve the truth." "Mel," she repeated gently, "you don't have to say it." He swallowed. "Nicole, you are extraordinary, kind, funny, strong, but—" She squeezed his hands. "But Peg has your heart." Silence. Then Mel nodded, eyes misting. Nicole breathed out a soft laugh. "You lit up like a teenager every time she walked into a room. You think I didn't notice that during Fantasy Suites?" "You noticed." She smirked. "Mel, America noticed." He groaned. "I'm never living this down." Nicole leaned in and kissed his cheek and whispered, "Then make it worth it." The final rose. No camera could hide it. On the last night of filming, Peg stood on the platform surrounded by glowing lanterns and rose petals. Her dress shimmered like champagne. Her hands trembled, not with fear, but with anticipation. Mel walked toward her with the same look he'd tried and failed to hide all season. The look that had spoiled everything. When he reached her, he didn't give the usual rehearsed speech. He didn't talk about journeys or challenges or connections. He simply took her hands and said, "I am choosing you not because the show is ending, but because my life finally feels like it's beginning." Peg's breath caught. Tears spilled. The world around them went quiet. Mel lifted the golden rose. "Peg Munson, will you spend the rest of our lives saying yes to each other long after the cameras stop rolling?" Peg didn't hesitate. "Yes, Mel. 1,000 times yes." She threw her arms around him, laughing and crying and glowing with that unmistakable, undeniable, they are meant for each other energy. The crew, the producers, and later the entire audience would say the same thing. Of course Peg won. Mel chose her with his eyes long before he chose her with the rose. After the spoiler, their private moment, once the camera stopped and everyone finally cleared the set, Mel and Peg stood together underneath the desert stars. No scripts, no producers, no pressure. Just them. Peg leaned her head on his shoulder. Do you think people will be mad the ending was obvious? Mel wrapped an arm around her waist. Let them be mad. I wasn't going to hide the way I felt. Peg smiled. You really did give it away. He kissed her temple softly. And I'd do it again.